Nice plane ride back. What were the takeaways from the win on Saturday?
All the guys felt good. That was the biggest thing. Made some plays down the stretch, and KJ hit a big shot, and Nate hit a couple big free throws. So, they felt good, and it's kind of a long time coming, us, making some plays down the stretch and finishing one like that, but it really felt good.
I don't think it says what the character of this team that they still got that fight after what's been such a long year.
Yeah, no, like I said, I think Nate's a big part of that. Him coming back and fighting his injuries kind of uplifted everybody. So, I think a lot of credit goes to him, but all the guys have tried to keep their heads up. It's difficult when you go into a year with expectations like we always do, and you obviously fall short of those expectations. It wears on everybody. But the guys have done a great job, coming to practice. We had a good practice yesterday. So, they've tried to keep their heads up and tried to keep working hard.
You talked about just wanting to see the guys be able to enjoy themselves just a little bit. Obviously, it's a bottom line game. It's about winning and losing. But what was it like for you to see them get to enjoy a little bit of success, given what they've been going through?
Well, as a coach, you want to be hard on them. You want to push them. But, the bottom line is you want them to have a good time. You want them to enjoy the experience. And, usually, pushing them and being hard on them translates into some wins, and then when it doesn't, it does take the fun out of it. But again, to see them in the locker room, everybody smiling, it was good, and again, that's, as a coach, you want them to enjoy it. It's their passion, it's their love. You want them to enjoy the experience. And, Peyton was in the locker room afterwards, and, you just want him to enjoy it like he did, but he put a lot into it, and what you put into it is usually what you get out of it.
You mentioned pretty recently that you wanted to see your team get to the line a little bit more. How much of that did you see against USA?
Well, I thought we threw it inside. KJ, got 13 free throws. The most important thing, the second half, we hit them. We were 12 of 13. First half, we didn't shoot them good. Second half, we were 12 of 13. The one we missed, we got back and hit a three. So 15 points on 13 free throws. We'll take that any night.
You said earlier this team building around KJ, Nate, Jackson. KJ's been the guy, I think, consistently here this season. How do you feel like his growth individually has progressed? And, it's forced him into some different positions and roles for you guys, but just his growth from in year three.
Yeah, no, he's been a little up and down, but he needs to get a little stronger, for a few finishes inside. The first half, he had some really good opportunities that he didn't finish. But no, he's been the one guy that's, I think he missed one game is all, which, he was sick against UCLA at UCLA, but other than that, he's suited up. He had a tight hamstring the other night, and he played through that. So, no, I think he's done a tremendous job. The exciting thing is there's so much more there for KJ, with a little more hip strength and lower body strength and playing the game just a little lower. I think he could really be explosive and make even more plays. So, no, I really thankful that, he stayed healthy and he's done a good job for us.
What challenge does Wisconsin present for you guys?
Well, their big shoot it, which will stretch the floor on us quite a bit. Boyd's, his performance against Iowa was off the charts. He almost had a triple-double. He's explosive and, gets to his spots with that left hand. I mean, he does a great job. So, no, they're playing really good. Gone on the road and had a couple big road wins. So we know we'll have to play really well. We got to get on the boards, and control the boards. USC rebounded well against us the second half, which I think, put us in a tough spot. Got to handle the ball a little better than what we've been handling. Our turnovers against USC almost didn't give us an opportunity to win the game. So we got to handle the ball. We got to out-rebound them. But again, they present a lot of problems. Very talented team. Their roles are well established, and everybody knows what their job is. And, they've maintained their rotation, and they're playing pretty good.
What are the challenges of guarding a team with two guards that can go for 20 any kind of night?
Presents a big problem. Again, I mentioned the bigs, so you don't have that rim protection when those guys get going downhill. Winter's popping out, they're popping out, and so you don't have guys at the basket to contend when Boyd and Blackwell get going downhill. So, it presents a big problem. Those two guards scoring a lot of points, playing a lot of minutes for them, and with their big spreading the floor like that, it creates a lot of opportunities.
You guys have had a couple different types of stretches where you needed to put together 7 points in a minute to win a game, but haven't. What was different about Saturday?
Just made a big play. We had an opportunity against Purdue, and missed a couple shots. We're down 6, and KJ hits a basket going to the, hits kind of a runner going to the basket, finishes that. Missed the free throw, and he gets after it, keeps it alive. Drew picks it up, kicks it to TK, and TK makes a hell of a play, drive and kick to KJ for an open 3, inside out 3. So, and KJ hit it. We had 2 or 3 really good looks against Purdue, that would have given us a 4-point lead under a minute, and we missed them. Sometimes it's just, making a play. And KJ made 2 big ones there, and then, not to underestimate, Nate hit 2 pressure-packed free throws. And so he went and got the inbounds play that we set up. He went and got the ball and got fouled and hit both free throws. So, KJ and Nate, they made big plays down the stretch, and we got to stop. We gave up an offensive rebound there that I thought was going to cost us, but he missed the putback, and Nate got the rebound. So we got to stop when we had to.
Now, you guys have plenty of time to reflect kind of throughout the course of this season. You had a chance to reflect on yourself as a coach. Going into the offseason, what's an area of focus for you guys so you don't replicate a season like this next year?
Well, there's a lot of things. We'll evaluate. We had a lot of injuries this year. We'll evaluate our off-season strength and conditioning program. Although a broken hand and sprained ankles, torn labrum, shoulder injury, those things, they happen. A groin injury to Dev, may be the only one that, we really got to check, conditioning, and did we do something, those muscle injuries like that. But a shoulder injury, a broken hand, ankles, we invested in a lot of things to help our ankle strength and that. So we just got to continue to do that. But we'll check that out. Obviously, we'll check our recruiting. It's a different day. Basically buying players. Going through agencies. It's not the same as it was. So, I've got to do a better job of evaluating and making sure the pieces fit. Obviously, the injuries, not as much control on that, but we have to do a great job of not only getting the first unit, but if something happens to our point guard, then, we maybe didn't back ourselves up as well as we needed to. So, getting a top 10 or so that, are ready to go. And we really went from a very experienced team. If you look at our top 9 a year ago, we had a lot of fifth-year seniors, a lot of guys who had played. And, our top 10 this year, we didn't have that same experience, So I think that's something we really got to look at.
Does Dez have a medical waiver to apply for the injury last year?
Yeah. No, he'll have another year.
You look at that for Jackson as well?
We'll try. He a couple games over, but definitely try to get him another year.